From LA 84 to streaming supremacy, discover the deals and reforms that transform the Olympics into a relentless global empire. From Lausanne to Los Angeles, the Olympics pivot from debt and doubt to a disciplined, corporate-financed model. In Lausanne, the IOC faces near insolvency and fading legitimacy and chooses reinvention over retreat. Munich's attack shatters innocence, forcing a permanent security baseline that drives costs for decades. Montreal's Big O lingers, about $1.5 billion repaid, warning cities about Olympic debt traps. Moscow, 1980s boycott wounds legitimacy and revenue, as the IOC operates like a club with little income. One Antonio Samaranch takes office in 1980 with a survival mandate: stabilize finances, modernize governance. Los Angeles steps up alone. Peter Ueberroth brings market discipline and scarcity thinking to the games. A soaring LA torch and a packed Coliseum sell confidence, not concrete, to the world. Ueberroth caps partners and sells category exclusivity. Fewer sponsors, bigger checks, tighter control. Scarcity works. Sponsorship approaches $130 million, and TV revenues push past $700 million. LA 1984 closes with roughly $223 to $232 million in surplus, proving discipline can pay. The LA 84 Foundation converts surplus into decades of youth sport across California and beyond. Grant dashboards translate dollars into coaches trained, leagues seeded, and fields refurbished. Reuse over build. The LA Coliseum crowns frugal spectacle and reduces risk. Back in Lausanne, leaders codify a model meant to outlive LA's uniqueness. The top badge arrives. Global, bundled, exclusive. Your ticket inside the Olympic machine. One partner per category. Rights bundled across summer, winter, and more than 100 NOCs. From $96 million in top one, the program's fees climb into the hundreds per quadrennium. Coca-Cola, Atlanta's icon, anchors the era with century-long continuity and activation muscle. Limited edition Olympic cans turn everyday moments into branded victory toasts. Visa's category exclusivity makes every checkout an Olympic moment. An Olympic-branded card gleams at the gate, a frictionless promise of access and status. In 1988, the amateur myth yields. Professionals formalize what commerce already made true. Olympic solidarity grows, channeling new funds to athletes and federations outside sponsor heartlands. NBC bets that live uncertainty is television's last appointment habit worth any premium. A primetime slate compresses chaos into national narratives that sell through the night. For Barcelona, NBC pays around $401 million, banking on that live drama premium. Broadcast fees rocket. 1960, $1.2 million. 1964, $1.6 million. 1984, $286.9 million. 1988, $402.6 million. 1992, $636.1 million. 1996, $898.3 million. Scarcity becomes strategy. IOC centralizes rights to stabilize governance. Exclusivity and bundled global rights multiply value. Amateur ideals give way to professional excellence. Salt Lake City's emblem rises as a test of the movement's integrity and process. Roughly $1.2 million in gifts and perks expose a bid system built on favors. Reforms follow in 1999, term and age limits, stricter gift rules, and a codified ethics regime. Top grows to roughly $850 million by 2001 to 2004. Later cycles exceed $2 billion. Omega's timing brand becomes shorthand for Olympic precision and trust. A laser beam kisses the finish, selling certainty to the 100th worldwide. By the mid-1990s, centralization shifts power as OCOGs and NOCs depend on IOC distributions. Lausanne redistributes hundreds of millions per games to fuel growth and parity. Sponsor pavilions bloom as pop-up worlds where brands trade stories for loyalty. The winner's curse emerges as cities inflate plans to justify non-sport development. More sports and more athletes ride the wave of fresh money and global media reach. Atos powers the digital backbone, moving results and credentials at Olympic scale. A command console knits timing, accreditation, and data into a single nervous system. By 1995, a durable corporate machine replaces fragility, still imperfect by design. Rescued at a price. Control curbs chaos yet invites influence. Sponsorship and broadcast stabilize finances. Professionalism reshapes culture and competition. Denver's referendum becomes North America's cautionary echo in council chambers. Voters reject winter 1976 funding, a clear foreshadowing of modern resistance. The lesson hardens. Without new funding logic, risk and skepticism surge. Seoul's emblem announces Asia's arrival in Olympic commerce and stagecraft. Broadcast grammar, mascots, and brand craft in Seoul mature into a global template. By 1992, Asia's rise proves the platform truly global in demand and delivery. Barcelona's makeover sets the template for urban branding and legacy talk. The Barcelona Sun crowns a European case in city renaissance. Beach volleyball frames sport as lifestyle, cityscape as stage. The Rescue's shadow, bigger money seeds, later cost risks for host cities. A wall of elite logos forms the pantheon underwriting the flame. From pageant to platform, Lausanne guards the brand. Scarcity and TV make the model repeatable. Cities now choreograph for a global screen. From New York to Philadelphia, Primetime's grip yields to streaming's everywhere promise. NBC's Peacock spreads across eras, owning the American Olympic habit. A control wall hums, slicing global feeds into monetizable stories. Atlanta's opening night draws about 198.3 million peak appointment television. Rights keep rising. Athens near $894 million in the U.S. Beijing Global near $1.739 billion. Multi-cycle deals buy certainty, enabling NBC to invest and orchestrate. In 2011, NBC commits roughly $4.38 billion through 2020, doubling down on the habit. In Philadelphia, Comcast turns Olympic weeks into a company-wide engine. Boardroom pillars align, ads, subscriptions, and brand heat in sync. In 2014, NBCU extends to 2032 as the bundle phrase under cord cutting. Time zones become tools. Delays in packages land in prime time. The BBC leverages public trust to deliver national moments at scale. Multi-feed interfaces let fans pick, pause, and own their path. In Germany, ARD and ZDF split duty and scrutiny in tandem. Lausanne fragments regional rights, multiplying bidders to maximize value. CCTV anchors China's audience as digital platforms evolve around it. Eris 2024 rights shares, US about 47%, Japan around 7, China near 6. The 2010s fragment audiences, cord-cutting bites while fees still climb. A charted pay TV decline forces digital pivots and new math. Peacock steps forward as NBC's Olympic streaming flagship. Multiview tiles 4 events, finally matching how fans watch now. Median ages split, Peacock around 36, NBC broadcast in the mid-50s. Tokyo's empty stands push the world to apps and streams. Paris becomes the first Olympics designed for true multi-platform reach. Daily highlight reels condense wonder into shareable bursts. Streaming hits about 23.5 billion minutes, more than all prior games combined. Average daily reach near 30.6 million, up around 82% versus Tokyo. 8 of Peacock's top 10 days ever cluster during Paris. NBCU doubles inventory and opens programmatic pipes to thousands of brands. Ad commitments talk $1.2 billion, with about $350 million from first-timers and $500 million programmatic. The Peacock slate feels like an app store for sport, not a TV grid. Live sports protect pricing and fight churn as targeting and measurement sharpen. Fragmentation dilutes the single-screen mass, pressing prime-time premiums. Amazon's presence signals distribution muscle reshaping the field. On-demand norms collide with live urgency across every major app. More platforms and minutes, yet a smaller slice of total attention. Two truths coexist. Absolute engagement surges while reach percentages soften. Split screens glow from couches to phones, the new Olympic Commons. NBC adds roughly $3 billion more, extending rights through 2036. The ecosystem segments. Lausanne sells slices, while broadcasters localize the story. France Télévisions hosts at home, balancing ambition with pragmatism. Replay carousels power instant catch-up and sustained fandom. 7 binds Australia with breakfast live and dinner replays. Time zone alchemy turns late nights abroad into morning rituals at home. NHK pairs 8K ambition with mobile-first access across Japan. App tiles pulse with judoka and sprinters, one tap to immersion. With no tickets in 2021, media becomes the stadium for the world. Screens multiply. Long contracts steady the ship. Rights hinge on pricing and subs. Fans demand control across platforms. Telemundo brings U.S. Spanish-speaking audiences a distinct Olympic voice. Studio highlights remix culture and sport for bilingual households. Creator-led short clips harvest incremental attention at speed and scale. Programmatic lowers the buy-in. About 70% of Paris advertisers are first-timers. Small brands gain Olympic adjacency, diversifying revenue beyond top tiers. Vertical creator videos square off against horizontal TV on the same couch. From one screen to everywhere. Carriage widens, but oversight complicates. Value shifts to targeted impressions. Fandom turns continuous and participatory. Streaming highs and slipping share set the stage for reform and sustainability next. Agenda 2020 calls for a hard reset. Reuse more, spend less, rebuild consent. In Lausanne, the IOC rewrites the host playbook to stem a legitimacy leak. A slimmed dossier replaces lavish bids, signaling frugality as virtue. Host city contracts adopt UN human rights principles and new obligations. Agenda 2020 plus 5 centers digital, sustainability, and athlete safeguarding. Dual awards, Paris 2024 and LA 2028, trade bid wars for stability. Two emblems side by side preview a negotiated, calmer future. Brisbane 2032 is chosen via dialogue, a template for selection by consent. Referenda and pushback thin the field, costs fall, public deliberation narrows. Oslo's bid stands as a European case of principled hesitation. Public money without clear legacies meets a Norwegian no. Munich withdraws under citizen pressure, another democratic break. Scarcity flips to cities. Beijing beats Almaty for 2022 as options dwindle. Rio's promise collides with fiscal reality on the ground. From the air, parks gleam. On the ground, upkeep proves brutal. Costs near $20 billion, the city near $13 billion, revenue only about $4 to $4.5 billion. A federal bailout around $900 million covers policing. Venues fade fast. Tokyo's emblem carries pandemic scars and budget strain. Empty seats echo as athletes perform for cameras and clouds. Costs about $13 to $15.4 billion. Revenues near $6 billion, plus the lost ticket gate. Athens' roughly $15 billion burden ties into debt and decades of upkeep strain. The new directives: use existing venues, build temporary, prove legacy with transparency. Paris embraces the reform script as a test case for tomorrow. Temporary venues snap into iconic sites, modular and reversible. Carbon targets aim roughly 50% lower, powered by renewables and design. Budget near 9.7 to 10.5 billion euros, with IOC support around $1.7 billion. Break-even or modest surplus is possible. Legacies need time to judge. Critics flag displacement, gentrification, and Seine water quality concerns. The Seine becomes a stage, ambition flowing under Parisian bridges. Beijing 2022 forces the values versus universality dilemma into the light. A U.S. diplomatic boycott lands. Top sponsors mostly stay silent. Coca-Cola holds course, weighing brand risk against century-long equity. Visa and P&G remain cautious. Due diligence remains opaque. Alibaba's presence signals cloud and commerce embedded in the stack. A cloud dashboard moves video and data with elastic scale. Airbnb's mark sits lightly, mindful of global scrutiny. Activation stays muted under human rights pressure. Toyota, Bridgestone, and Panasonic span factory floors to stadium lights. Samsung and Intel showcase tech while tiptoeing past politics. 5G multicam feeds let fans jump angles at the speed of a swipe. Accountability language expands. Consistent enforcement still lags. Targeted dialogue cuts bid costs but concentrates choice and power. Los Angeles returns with reuse-first confidence and veteran infrastructure. Concept art leans on existing stages, not new monuments to maintenance. Normalize low capex hosting to relieve pressure on future cities. Top fees moderate slightly as programmatic brings many smaller buyers in. A broader base emerges, fewer mega sponsors, more mid-tier resilience. Before and after frames show truths no ledger can hide. Carbon is measurable today. Social safeguards still need real teeth. Choosing Beijing underlines the bind between universal reach and human rights. Climate risk looms over winter snow and summer heat alike. A shrinking snowpack map redraws the viable Winter Games world. Legitimacy in the balance. Dialogue replaces contests but raises questions. Leaner CapEx meets steadier IOC support. Sustainability outpaces human rights enforcement. Cities want development, communities inclusion, sponsors safe reach. Align those aims or stall. Measure ruthlessly, reuse relentlessly, respect relentlessly. That is how consent returns. Eris and LA share a frame, proving restraint can still thrill. A narrow path forward. Selection must earn trust. Digital breadth can fund restraint. Benefits must be widely felt. From rescue to reform in 5 decades, the work is unfinished by design. Measure ruthlessly, reuse relentlessly, respect relentlessly, carry them to the next bid. End of chapter. Bring your questions. The map is still being drawn.